The museum is quiet. Air hums through the hall, echoing off stone ribs and glass cases. But beneath the silence, there's a rhythm, deep, patient, ancient. The bones of Parasaurolophus stand like a frozen trumpet, a fossilized echo of something that once filled the sky with sound. A visitor leans closer, presses an ear to the glass, and for a heartbeat, the air seems to vibrate. For millions of years, the earth was never silent. Forests shook with the bellows of giants. Rivers trembled with their footsteps. Even the air, thick and humid, carried the language of scale, of power, of life. But when the world changed, those voices vanished. All that remains are bones, hollow spaces, and the ghosts of sound. We imagine dinosaurs as shapes and teeth. But what if we could hear them again? The low tremor of a sauropod herd moving at dawn. The haunting calls of crested hadrosaurs echoing through mist. The subtle hiss of breath inside the lungs of a predator. These were not monsters. They were musicians of a living planet. And though silence rules now, the echoes still sleep within the stones. This is their story, the lost voices of dinosaurs. Sound doesn't fossilize, but its instruments sometimes do. Inside the skulls of dinosaurs lie clues, cavities, tubes, sinuses, all potential resonators. The same physics that shapes a bird's song or an elephant's rumble shape them too. Paleontologists use CT scans to map these internal chambers, recreating 3D models of ancient vocal tracts. From there, acoustic engineers simulate airflow and resonance. The results are haunting. A deep, trembling bellow for Apatosaurus, a metallic trumpet for Parasaurolophus, a low-frequency pulse for Tyrannosaurus rex that could be felt more than heard. These reconstructions aren't fantasy. They're built from bone geometry and airflow equations. Sound is physics, and physics leaves traces. In life, dinosaurs had air sacs like modern birds, allowing continuous breath. Their chest cavities acted like amplifiers. Their necks, long, muscular, hollow, could produce infrasound that carried for miles. The earth itself became their instrument, a vibration that rolled through forest, water, and air, a living symphony of size. To listen to them today is to touch the ghost of vibration itself, a sound not made of air anymore, but of memory. Before dinosaurs, there was only whisper, the wind, the rain, the hiss of insects, the earth learning to speak. The earliest vertebrates made no sound at all. Then came lungs, and with lungs came voice. Amphibians croaked. Reptiles hissed. Each new tone was an accident vibration through tissue, amplified by air. Over millions of years, sound evolved from byproduct to purpose. By the late Triassic, the world had found its voice. Forests were alive with clicks, trills, and calls. And from that chorus rose the first dinosaurs, creatures that would turn sound into dominance. For them, silence was danger. To be heard was to exist. Every bellow warned, every hiss claimed, every heartbeat echoed through time. The planet was composing, layer by layer, its first great anthem. And dinosaurs were the ones who learned to sing it. In the lush world of the Jurassic, the air was heavy with humidity and sound. Herds of Diplodocus, Apatosaurus, and Brachiosaurus moved like slow thunder. Their necks were massive wind instruments, long chambers capable of creating low-frequency vibrations. These weren't roars. They were drones' deep notes that made the ground hum. Through computer modeling, scientists estimate that sauropods may have produced infrasound below 20 hertz, too low for humans to hear, but powerful enough to make the earth itself shake. Elephants use the same trick today. So did the giants. Imagine standing beneath them, feeling, not hearing, their communication ripple through the soil. It was a language of distance, perfect for a world of vast plains and deep valleys. Their calls may have coordinated migration, warned of predators, or simply announced presence. The forest was their cathedral, and their voices its organ. If you listened carefully, the Jurassic didn't sound chaotic. It sounded organized like a living orchestra conducted by size and gravity. By the Cretaceous, evolution had found melody. Among the hadrosaurs, the duck-billed dinosaurs, some skulls became instruments of precision. Parasaurolophus carried a long, hollow crest, curving over its head, a biological trumpet. Air passed through it when the creature exhaled, creating deep, resonant tones that could carry for kilometers. Each individual's crest was slightly different, meaning each had its own unique voice. No two calls were exactly the same. Paleontologists 3D printed the crest and ran digital airflow tests. The result: a haunting, bass-heavy sound. Between a foghorn and a didgeridoo, ancient music rolling across swamps. Other hadrosaurs like Cretaceous and Lambeosaurus had different crest shapes, tuned to different frequencies. Together, they may have formed acoustic communities, choruses of creatures singing across ancient wetlands. This wasn't noise. It was communication, calls to mates, warnings to rivals, songs of recognition echoing through mist. Imagine dusk over the Cretaceous delta, silhouettes of giants moving through reeds, and a slow, echoing note sweeping across the horizon. That was the voice of Parasaurolophus, not a roar, a song. Hollywood gave dinosaurs roars, but real life may have been quieter and deeper. Tyrannosaurus rex, the symbol of power, likely didn't roar like a lion. Its skull structure lacked the resonance chambers for that. Instead, studies of its close relatives, crocodiles and birds, suggest a sound more primal, a low, chesty rumble that vibrated through the air and ground alike. Elephants use similar infrasound calls to communicate across miles. A T-Rex call may have been felt through bone conduction, a wave that shook the ribcage. So when it hunted, it didn't need to roar. Its voice was a presence, a warning, a vibration that reached the prey before its body did. Predators didn't need volume to dominate. They only needed to resonate. The real terror of the Cretaceous wasn't a scream. It was the silence before the tremor. Sound is emotion. To survive, every species must learn to listen. Dinosaurs used sound for more than fear. They used it for attraction, coordination, identity. Low frequencies carried power. High frequencies carried detail. Together, they formed symphonies of behavior. In herds, synchronized calls may have maintained cohesion. Young followed the rhythm of adults. Males displayed through pitch deeper meant stronger, older, more dominant. Females replied through tone and movement. Some fossils show ear bones tuned to specific frequencies, evolution's way of customizing hearing for social life. Even the tiniest dinosaurs had voices scaled to their size, chirps, clicks, and squeals that filled the canopy. When thunder rolled in, when volcanoes rumbled, when meteors streaked, every creature joined the chorus of survival. To be silent was to vanish, and yet, in that world of noise, harmony reigned. Each call fit into the ecology of sound. Each echo had a listener. Each vibration had meaning. The earth was not chaos. It was communication. Then, in an instant, it ended. The sky tore open. A meteor larger than a mountain fell into the sea. Shockwaves circled the globe, and, for the first time in 160 million years, the planet went silent. The forests burned. The oceans boiled. Ash turned sunlight into darkness. Sound once everywhere was gone. The last calls of the dinosaurs faded beneath the roar of global catastrophe. Then came quiet, long, endless quiet. In that silence, only echoes remained buried under layers of ash and time. But even silence is a kind of sound. It is the memory of vibration, waiting to return. When we find their fossils today, we're not just finding shape, we're finding the instruments that once played. And when scientists recreate those voices, the silence trembles again. 66 million years later, the Earth listens to itself. But not every voice died. Some learned to whisper instead of roar. The birds that wake are morning sparrows, crows. Cranes are the living echoes of dinosaurs. Their syrinx, the vocal organ at the base of the trachea, evolved from the same respiratory system that once filled Parasaurolophus crests and Rex chests. When a raven croaks or a swan trumpets, it's not imitation, it's inheritance, the melody of survival passed through extinction. Each call we hear today, each chirp, whistle, and song carries fragments of the lost Mesozoic soundscape. They are time travelers, disguised in feathers. Listen to them long enough, and you begin to recognize the cadence of ancient power, the rhythm of lungs that once belonged to giants. Their size is gone, but their music remains. In the museum, the air is still. Bones cast long shadows. And yet, if you close your eyes, the silence begins to move. You feel at first a vibration underfoot, faint but steady. Then a tremor in the chest, then a sound low, vast, rolling through memory. It's not imagination, it's recognition. Because sound once made never truly disappears. It lingers in the air, the rock, the resonance of time itself. Dinosaurs are gone, but their frequencies remain buried in stone, carried by descendants and coded in the physics of breath. Every fossil is a frozen note in the planet's unfinished song. And every time we listen, we bring that song a little closer to life again. The Earth was never silent. We simply arrived too late to hear. But in the stillness of museums, in the hum of machines, in the calls of birds outside the window, the Mesozoic still murmurs. It waits, softly, for us to remember the sound of life.